Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, testing, testing. Test 1, 2, test 1, 2, testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, testing, testing. Test 1, 2. All right, so I was messing around a bit a few days ago. I was too sick to do much of anything. I know from like Tuesday on to just about now. So a couple things I messed around with was nano mesh and figuring out how that worked and how it might help me with some of the detail in the armor, especially with the threads. I mentioned that I bought a couple of doodads, samurai doodads, on ArtStation, which have been really helpful. I loaded them all in as brushes, so you can see we have plates here. This is the neck plate, so I've kind of given up on that. I'm just going to use the meshes that came with the kit. Rivets, and then threads. Here's buckle, a bunch of knots. And again, I'm not an artist, I'm a game developer, so this is the ABCs of game dev. Always be cheating. Whatever shortcuts, whatever tools you can use to make something look good, I'm all in favor of going ahead and using them. I mean, there's nothing here that I couldn't make on my own. It's just a question of why should I spend the time when these things are like $6 on ArtStation for the entire kit. One of the things that I did on my own, and it took quite a long time, was to make a tiger pattern alpha. I say I did it on my own. I basically stole a pattern. Not stole, but, I used the non-copyrighted search function on Google Images, found a couple of tiger patterns, and then made a larger canvas and kind of copied and pasted them all over, and then I drew in the gaps. It was about an hour or two of labor, though, so I'm going to take credit for the majority of that. It's hard to make tiger patterns look good on anything other than tigers. I don't know if you've ever seen I tried to set up a way so that I could show you the reference I was looking at. I still have it. I tried to load all the images into Firefox, and when I loaded the Firefox as a source in OBS, it displayed basically the Firefox acted as a mask exposing the desktop. Weird, right? So I'm still searching for a way to display the reference material, but one of the reference images I had was basically what not to do. It was the tiger samurai outfit from 47 Ronin, and it looks absolutely awful. Not for nothing. Like I said, it's hard to make tiger patterns look good on anything other than a tiger for whatever reason. You get like Zubaz looking levels of awfulness when it's done incorrectly, and that was true of what I saw in 47 Ronin. So I think the solution is less is more. So what I'm doing here in the hat, again, I'm not going to do the neck guard today. This is just kind of like a rough sketch. So this is what I'll be redoing today. But basically, there's concentric circles here, and these two concentric circles are filled with tiger pattern. And then when it's textured, it'll look a bit better. It'll be basically like it's going to be like most of the samurai will be black, and the stripes will be like a gold. So it's kind of like the reverse of a tiger. So it doesn't draw it. It's not too on the nose, and better than that, there's going to be a lot of edge wear, or rather vice versa. The surfaces will wear and the edges will retain patina. And it's basically I'm basing some of this off of some other things I've seen that have turned out pretty well. Not the tiger pattern in particular, but the texturing with the reverse edge wear and patinaing. So rather than carry this throughout the entire character, basically it's just going to be at the edges. So when I throw in the shoulder armor, the last scallop at the bottom will have a tiger pattern running across the edge. Same thing with the skirt and the thigh guards. So it won't be overdone to that point of Zuba's tastelessness. Just very briefly on some of the character considerations, I'm not doing a traditional samurai helmet. For one, it sets the character apart. So it's showing that as a foreigner, he has certain dispensations to not follow the traditional uniform. So he's kind of a special case. Presumably his sword fighting abilities make him a special case that allow him to kind of act outside the formal traditions of the samurai in this story. The other thing is that this is a salakot, which is Asian conical hat. I think it's from the Philippines. So that's going to be part of the backstory, is that he was shanghaied into being a pirate at one point, and he killed a famous pirate and took his hat as a trophy for his own. Whether or not that's ever stated explicitly, probably not. I don't think I'll the only way to reveal that would be through like some sort of crappy exposition or some sort of crappy flashback, maybe. Rather than that, I'm just gonna let it stand on its own and be something weird and out of place. So in this this stream, we're going to recreate this, only make it good. Make sure that the edges here, the separating the concentric circles, are good. Make sure we don't have this level of pixelation, for lack of a better word, on the edges. I just kind of threw this together. The hat topper is something I made in 3ds Max, and that needs to be decorated too. This ring, I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to put in here, and I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to decorate the hat topper, other than it's supposed to have like some fur coming out of it at the top. I also intend to maybe put some spiky looking things or some sort of edge ornamentation here. But as far as what I'm going to do today with this is, uh, well, I'll tell you what I'm going to leave. I'm going to leave this concentric circle. I'm going to leave the hat topper alone. And I'm going to leave whatever I want to put on the edge. If I want to put something on the edge there, I'll do that later. Because a lot of these things are going to require me to make special alphas or special sculpts. Kind of minutia type things that isn't going to be super fun to watch. I know none of this is really probably super fun to watch. It's pretty boring watching me struggle with some of this stuff. But that especially would probably be very boring. So we're going to do this, tiger stripes, and these divisors, these rings. All right, so we're going to have to... Oh, I'm also going to clean up the subtools a little bit. So we'll do a little maintenance work too. And I think this is going to be my modus operandi for this model. Is I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to get things to 90%, but that's what I said before. Now I'm shooting for maybe 70, because it's hard to work something to completion and then know exactly how that's going to fit in the overall aesthetic. So I think I'm going to reduce completion for the subtools from 90% to maybe 70, go all the way around, see how it looks, and then just keep tightening things up and up. I have a pretty clear idea of what I'm going to do with the feet, a pretty clear idea of what I'm going to do with the shoulder armor, the thigh armor. Not entirely sure what I'm going to do with the breastplate. And, there's details in each of those that I'm not entirely set on yet. So, like I said, I'm going to go around and around, basically concepting. Again, I don't have a concept artist, and I had a rough sketch of what I wanted this to look like, but obviously that doesn't tell the tale nearly well enough. So it's a weird strategy, but it works for me. I concept as I'm polishing everything up, trying to get two things done at once. All right, so we're going to go back to a file where the hat is not been altered as much. Bear with me as I search. I also did some scaling, some non-uniform scaling. See, you can tell this is an entirely different scale there. So that's going to need to be redone. I like the scale of what I've accomplished here so much. I'm going to merge these and export them for reference purposes. Excuse me. So we're going to bring this in for reference. We also have to go back and bring in a new body because, you know, he has no throat now, and that's kind of a problem. Ooh, I didn't want to move that one. There'll be no getting it back perfectly center. Uh-oh. See, if I didn't have that reference, I would have gone too far. I would have scaled it a lot more than what I'm seeing right here. All right, you know what? Let's get rid of this reference. And what we're going to do here, we're going to reappend that thing without moving it this time. And split to parts. It should have been composed of multiple parts. At one time it was. I'm trying to get this thing off the top of it. Excuse me. So we're going to go back to another file. And delete other. Save as top or top. I think the difference in the outer edge there is not from the scaling, but it's from an inflation procedure I did. But we'll see. All right. And that, move that up. Rather, let's move this down. That's pretty well centered. Let's save this again. And while I'm thinking of it, we're going to import the body to the last known good body. Alright, so this guy still has his throat. That's good. Body with throat. Like I said, I'm going to clean things up a bit. Load in the body now. And append it. Excuse me. Why? Oh, okay. That was weird. All right. So we've essentially reconstituted a file from all the meshes we needed and or had messed up, and so now we can start to make some progress. Trying to figure out how many polygons this has, and I know that's a tricky business because it doesn't typically update right, or the way that I would expect anyways, which is what is right. Excuse me. What's frustrating about this is you can see I'm starting out dead center when I begin dragging. And then I wonder if it's because the alpha and stuff is off center. I'm betting that's it, rather than ZBrush just off centering everything. If anybody knows how to like move this around, like once you drag it out, if I hit the space bar, it looks like, oh, I can drag it around. I can't drag it around. So this is going to take some trial and error to get this in the center. This is definitely not in the center. Alright, if I do right in the center, it shifts to the right, so I gotta go to the left. That's about as center as I'm gonna get it. Wait. No, it's way too high. So let's start there. That's pretty good. Let's see how big the reference is. So it looks like it's to this ring here. I think the intensity is a little lower though. I can't zoom out. That's a little too far right still. Too far down. Like that's way off. Let me check the reference again. All right, that's about as good as it's gonna get, I think. The reference is a little larger, but not by much. I like how that turned out, so I'm gonna leave it. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is lay in these. Oh no, yeah. Is that fixable? Should I bother? I can just paint the underside with a normal map that I'm going to leave it. But for future reference, I'm going to try to remember to use auto masking on all of my brushes there. All right, circle, square, center. Because none of those things could be accomplished with a hotkey. All right, and now when we remove this, we don't want to remove the masking on the back. So let me see how that jibes with the reference. Hard to tell because it's bigger as a result of. I gotta let the cat out. The cat's going crazy. Don't come back, okay? See, now I can move it around. Why can't I do that with the other brushes and stuff? You know what? I'm gonna inflate this part first. And see how that compares to the reference. Still smaller. I don't know how to scale this in Alt to, wait, this is Y. It's different. says it's scaling. It's not. I'm trying to scale it in just the X and Z axis. It says you hit Alt. But it does nothing. Alright, I don't know how I feel about all that. I'm going to try to put it out of my mind. Because I wanted to make sure everything was the right size before I did any quote-unquote artistry on it. I did that wrong. I want that to be unmasked to the very last part. I know I'm probably trying to replicate the sketch too closely. I should just let it be and hope for happy accidents, but I want to get this right. God damn it. Yay. All right. Not sure if that's perfect enough, but why is their back mask not working? All right, let's see if freehand back mask will work. Oh no, wait, we want to erase all that. There, what am I looking for here? Did that do anything? What? Trying to take these edges off without having to do it manually with the smooth brush. That seemed to work. I don't like these jaggies that I'm getting. There's a million polys. That should be enough polys. Oh, what happened? See what happens when we polish the whole thing. Kind of like that. Let's wait until we have let's do it all at once though. Let's wait until we have the tiger stripes in there and stuff. Well, all right, let's see how this works. Standard, drag rectangle. Let's bring in my custom Tiger Alpha. See, it's getting... It seems like the mask is... glad I saw this. That's pretty good. I like it. right up to the edges of the, like it's the same height, it's the same depth there. I think I like that. You know what? I'm going to save it here in case I decide I don't like it, because that happens. And we'll just move this along. Nope. Excuse me. Wow. Just an hour for this little bit. Nope. Now, for some reason, it's the same Z intensity, but on the slope, it has like twice the effect. So we're going to have to go down to, I guess, half. Yeah, very. What happened? Very nearly half. I think it could do with being a little bit stronger. For some reason, it's cutting in. So we're going to have to adjust the mask a little bit, I think. I also want the pattern to be a little bit denser there. I think we could go up to 15. Now it's stopping too far before the edges. All right, I kind of really like that. But just in case I don't. All right, I know we didn't accomplish much today. It's only been an hour, but hour's a nice round number, and this is a good stopping point until I can get the other stuff established that I need, the other alphas and whatnot. And all of a sudden I'm getting says, and all of a sudden I'm getting errors. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. So might as well call it quits there. Um, I'll work on some of the other stuff, some of the even less exciting stuff, if that's even possible or believable. I'll do that off stream. All right. Thank you very much. Bye.